Well, hello, you fabulous interior designer. You made such a good choice today to listen to this episode because if you're anything like me, you have a very rich fantasy life, and it includes a director of operations to do all the jobs that you don't really want to do. That's what we're going to talk about today. We have this wonderful member, Amanda Giles, who's been killing it in Silicon Valley. And she fortunately found herself a director of operations. And yes, that person does all the jobs that Amanda doesn't really want to do, but it's so much more than that. Things are more finely tuned. Things are running more smoothly. She can manage more jobs and better jobs. And the fact of the matter is, it sounds like it's just kind of a perfect way to go. Sorry about all the sirens. I don't know if you can hear them, but we're still kind of dealing with the fires out here. I think it's more police presence than anything, just to let everybody know that they're working on it, but things are much, much better. What can I tell you about Amanda Giles? Okay, so I mentioned she's from the Silicon Valley, interior designer with a bachelor's degree in commercial from San Jose University. She worked for an architectural firm and did largely or mostly large office complexes. And she's done everything from that to styling bookshelves for her residential clients. So her experience is vast. She, in 2014, decided to be the owner of Design Fix, which has grown from the small partnership doing single room projects, which she'll discuss in the podcast, to a much more complex business creating whole house custom interiors with the help of Julie Brahms, who is her director of operations. If you want to reach out to Amanda and Julie, I do. I want to go hang out with them for sure. Then you can find them at Design Fix Home on Instagram and the website Design Fix Home as well. Julie seems like she came into this position ready to roll and knew exactly how she could be helpful, which is such a gift. But I think what's interesting here is Amanda's going to talk about some of the things she's really good at and those things that maybe she wasn't as good at, and how Julie was able to pick up those loose ends and, together, complementing each other, working in such beautiful harmony, they're able to do better projects and more projects, which is wonderful, which means more profitability at the end of the day. And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing it, right? It's a wonderful conversation. Loved meeting Amanda and Julie. I know you will too. Let's hear from Cheryl Horn, quick announcements, and we'll get right into the episode, Director of Operations, episode 416. I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks, Kimberly. Well, we recently opened registration to the Business of Design Retreat, which is happening in Santa Monica, Thursday, October 16th to Sunday, October 19th. Again, registration is open, regular price $39.90, and members are going to save $500. And until March 31st, it's only 50% deposit to register. So we're really excited. We've started getting a lot of interest in this. It has been a little while since we've done a retreat because the last few years we've been spending on boss groups, and now we're kind of doing a combination of the two, everything that we know our attendees love from the retreat and a lot of the learnings that we've gained over the last 5 years of running boss groups. So check that out. Head to the website. Retreat is right in that main menu, and we would love to have you there. Go ahead and register, or certainly email me for more information. We would love to see you in Santa Monica, and you will walk away transformed. We're really going to dive deep into what our attendees are struggling with, what they want to accomplish over the year that follows the retreat. We're going to be looking at profit and loss statements and really answering some of those questions that our members are struggling with. What is holding you back from taking that next step and reaching that next level in your business? Let's work through that together in Santa Monica, again, October 16th to 19th. Space is limited. It'll be a nice small group. We want to make sure that everyone walks away with all of their answers, or rather all of their questions answered. So we will take care of that for you. So again, head to the website, email me, Cheryl at businessofdesign.com. We would love to see you at the retreat. Thanks so much.
Hello, you two. How are you today?
Great. Yeah, doing well.
So you just heard Amanda say great. and Julie say doing well. I don't know how similar your voices are, but hopefully everybody can pick it up. And if not, you'll just say, this is Amanda. But we decided to have this conversation because it was I think it was at a BOD Live where Amanda introduced Julie as her director of operations. And we're all like, oh, I want one of those. So I think, first of all, we should start by saying, what is a director of operations? What do they do?
Yeah, I guess that's
Really?
me, Julie. Yeah. So, really it's just a matter of making sure everything's running smoothly, right? So I think Amanda and I have come up with a great working model where she's able to hopefully offload a lot of the day-to-day task management, project management, what's coming up in the week, and focus on just her expertise in doing really the major design work. So I'm here to say, here's what's on tap for the week. Here are the decisions we need to get made. Here's some outstanding items. Or even if there's some design selections, it's like, okay, do we have the right designer on that to make sure we are moving the project forward in the timeline that we communicated to the client and at the quality that we're trying to operate the business at.
Amanda, what would you say? What do you think happened when you found your Julie?
Well, it's just like a real burden has been lifted because it is so hard. I mean, we're a small firm. We have a third regular person whose name is also Amanda, and I just have to do a plug because she's the one who made the
I
stupid
remember
Kimberley
that.
Seldon say pillow.
I love it. I remember that. I think I saw that online or something. It's so cute.
Um, so she and I were actually college roommates and interior design majors, and so she lives and works, in a different place between Jackson Hole and Florida, and as one does, right?
Yeah, nice.
Julie and I are local, so she's the other designer, but it's so hard to switch from design brain to business brain. And I
Mhm.
especially really struggle with the interruptions. And so if I'm, really working on a space plan or selections, and then I have to stop and schedule trade day and
Mhm.
find out when the client is available, like all of those things, it's just like it kind of ruins my whole day in a way because I lose
Yeah.
focus, have to get back into that place of focus. And then, a call might come in later. Oh yeah, I can't make that day, but I can make this other day. And for me, it's just every single one of those things stops the flow of the design process or of sort of the marketing connections and that kind of thinking that I'm trying to do. And
Mhm.
so to have someone who's actually enthusiastic just about making things work. Julie also has great taste, and so she's
That's
great at
helpful.
saying, I think this is a good way to go, or if she's going and picking things up, I trust her to choose things as well. So it's not like she's just I tried in the past having, I guess, sort of more administrative help. Um, and didn't think it mattered that there was also that connection in terms of, yeah, this is the look that we're going for. But over time, I think Julie and I are in a good place in terms of if we need to pick some things up for styling or whatever, she can go and also get the right things. So it's not only the
Mhm.
like executive function and understanding. I mean, uh, Julie probably wouldn't toot her own horn, but I mean, she does have an MBA and has been a program manager at Apple and Google. So, I mean,
I've
those
heard of
are
those two
very
companies before.
those are a very high pressure, high stress,
Apple,
complex.
Google, and Amanda Giles. Love it.
That's right.
Love
Design
it.
fix. Yeah.
And I'm assuming with that background that Julie was right aligned in terms of we need systems and this has to operate in a manner that's smooth. Wow, that seems like big hitting power. I love that. Did you hire Julie knowing what she was going to do, or how did your relationship develop?
Well, to go back to kind of the beginning of Design Fix, my friend and I decided to start a company to try to help all the techies around here
Mm.
kind of have what they needed. And just wanted to make it kind of simple, kind of quick, affordable. Let's just get you functionally moving forward, you know? And it over time, it just turned out that they don't want that. They're like, I have a wall to lean my bike on, and I have a gaming chair and a milk crate. You know, like I don't need matching wine glasses or an ottoman of any type or, you know, anything.
You're describing my
So
nephew to a T, to a T.
yeah, so we thought that was a real need in Silicon Valley, but we did kind of create that sort of one room quick turnover niche,
Mm.
um, which I think was great and really fun. We had a really good time doing it, and she handled more of the things related to money and numbers.
Mhm.
And we kind of chose our lanes and stayed in them, and we're better friends after 8 years of being in business together than we even were
So
when we
good.
started. So it was great, but she retired and moved away. And so I was really stumbling along on my own and trying to figure things out. And I like hired employees in California. And I really think I messed everything up that it's possible to mess up. It's just, you know, I look at a
One of
page
my
and like,
people. Yeah.
it's kind of designer brain in a way. I mean, you can't be good at everything. And I was just really feeling like I can't do this. I just can't do it. And then I was had like subscribed to your podcast at some point. So then I started listening to it. And then I decided, well, I'll pay for a month of the Business of Design membership because I can, you know, do the stuff and see if it's worth it. And it really has been transformative. I mean, here's a little plug, but it really, I mean, not only are the processes good, but so many times in your videos, like you've said, like, well, here's the thing that always goes wrong. And I'm like, out loud, yes, yes, I've done that. I've done that. I've done that. It's gone wrong. It's been so stressful. And so just like separate from the actual functional process, I just feel like being able to review, you know, before an install, sitting down and watching the install video and going, oh, yeah. So it's like having this little coach in my back pocket. It has given me so much confidence. And I really did raise my rate, started to take retainers, um, you know, bought your contract. And we were, Julie and I were just in an initial consultation last week with a client that I had done work for in the past, and actually like his kids and his cousins and everything. And when I pulled out the contract to review it and went through it, I mean, this is a person who I'm not sure exactly how it works, but owns a number of hotels, like franchises of a major chain. So he's used to dealing
Right.
with with all of this in on the commercial side. And he was like, "Wow, Amanda, it's like you're so professional now. This is the way, you know, all the people on that side do things."
Nice.
And I
That's
just
so
was like,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It feels
um,
good, right? And then I can
it
have
really does.
confidence. Once I look professional, I'm acting professionally. I've
Yes.
become that program. Suddenly I am that person.
Yeah. And so I had kind of just started looking at and trying to implement um, the business of design 15 steps. And I had tried having kind of an admin, but she was part-time. And I had tried putting out feelers because I'm like, you know, it'd be perfect if there was someone who wanted to get out of Silicon Valley craziness, didn't need to work full time because I don't have a full-time job. It would be great. I tried putting out feelers in kind of my network and nothing happened. And I actually prayed. I was like, okay, God, here's what I think would be a good idea. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
know better than I do. I can't figure out how to get it there. I leave it in your hands. And I don't remember how much longer, how much later it was, 6 months. 9 months. And I get a text from the woman who cuts my hair. And she's like, hey, I have another client in my chair. And it wants to get out of Silicon Valley. And she's great. And she's interested in interior design. I thought maybe she could be your apprentice or something. And I was like, hook us
Oh my gosh.
up. And
I'll
we
be
had
right
coffee
over.
and we've
Yeah.
just been off to the races, and it's just been a great fit because Julie has three
Oh.
younger kids and doesn't want to be in that super intense kind of job anymore. And
So the other job that I assume super intense, what are the other differences, Julie, that made you think this is actually better suited to me in my life right now?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, I think um, with this role and what prompted me to sort of say, what else could I do? I love project management, program management. I think I love getting things done. And I wanted to continue doing that, but in a flexible environment that wasn't just this always on. I mean, I would
Mm.
say in any business, you can be always on.
Yeah.
And and I think that still being able to manage deliverables, manage programs, communicate with clients, trade, there's a lot of transferable skill set that I thought I could bring to Amanda
Mhm.
and her business. But I think the flexibility and also just being able to manage the hours was a big
Mm.
part for me. And I think as the business grows and continues to grow, it'll be exciting to kind of see how that then gets even more, you know, transferred. There's
Mhm.
always multiple projects going on, and that's the same thing in the industry I was in. And
Yeah.
so, you know, that multitasking I think is well transferred.
Are there things that surprised you about the interior design business? I would imagine if I came from Apple and Google, I'd be like, oh, this is a powder puff gig that I'm gonna be able to do this while doing a crossword at the same time. Are there things that kind of surprised you about the world that you jumped into?
Well, I mean, I think all the detail is super important.
Mm.
And I'm trying to think if it was surprising. I think when you think about the projects that I've worked with Amanda on and walking in, I remember walking into like my first job site visit with Amanda, and the space had just been demoed, and Amanda was having a discussion with the contractor, and they were talking about all this spatial visualization. And I remember just thinking there, like, wow, I cannot see this. So maybe that was the surprising
Uh-huh.
to me is I think in the past worked a lot you know, on the computer. I'm in the details, I'm in the spreadsheet, we're building a product. But you know, you kind of see that later in the development process, whereas
Right.
going to the site, it's like you're seeing it happen all real time. And I was very impressed with Amanda as she was talking because she could visualize that that ceiling line where, you know, where that wall or door opening would be. And I was like, I can take these notes and I can make sure capture all the actions, but I need to see something on paper. So I think that probably was a big, you know, just a big realization of mine of, oh, there's
That's so
so
cool.
much involved
Yeah.
visually as you're coming into a project.
How did you decide, Amanda or Julie, or how did you ever decide who does what? Like if somebody's listening and they're thinking like I think like I want a director of operations. I actually have Cheryl's director of operations for business of design, and that's a dream. Why I never had that for my interior design business is beyond me. But if you're thinking that this is something you should have, and I actually think it is something you should have, how do you decide who does what?
I think it's very clear. Um, it's very clear what lane I'm good at. It's the visualizing. Um, I have a lot of experience, many years of experience talking to clients, talking to contractors, trying to I feel like my strength is kind of really, really listening and observing my clients in order to visually interpret what they want in their living space
Mhm.
and communicate. I mean, often, you know, translating what the contractor says to the client and vice versa is a huge deal.
Mhm.
And and then, you know, the color choices and that sense of proportion, all those things that go into probably the gift, but also very much the experience of being an interior designer. Those things are in my lane. And all the other things I love to, I mean, I write, you know, weekly updates. And just before this, Julie was like, well, I can write that weekly update for you and you can just do it. I'm like, I never even thought of
Oh.
that. So, and also Julie has utilized AI for a number of things. And, you know, so she takes a bunch of meeting notes and then has AI polish it up so that everything looks beautiful and all that. So,
Genius.
I just feel like anything that has detail, and I'll let Julie say more, but this the first big project, the one that she's kind of been there through most of it. Toward the end, the client said, by the way, can you choose and procure all of our dishes, silverware, you know, spatulas, placemats, wine glasses for both indoor and outdoor use, and
Yes.
also all the bedding. Like these are just things that I'd never had a client sort of let me do before. And it was like 1,000 additional items. And if
Yeah.
Julie had not been part of things, it wouldn't have gone well.
Right.
But instead
Those
it
are
went
the kind
really,
of things that I used to say, like, oh, we're so crazy busy. I don't think I can do that, like years ago, like leaving all that money on the table. But worse, the client disappointed. They wanted it
yeah,
done.
yeah,
So that's genius.
yeah.
That's genius.
But it's a
What
big procurement job and a big tracking of finances and all that. And the spreadsheets were incredible.
So basically, like we often say, make a list of things you love and things you loathe. Those things you love to do and those things you really hate
Mm.
doing. And you're looking to hire a person who loves to do the things you hate. And
Mhm.
those are usually two different people, right? But somehow there's great synergy between the two of you.
Well, I think I have always thought of the things that are easy for me being easy for everyone, and the things that are hard and
Yes.
loathsome to me being hard and loathsome to everyone.
Yes.
Julie gets a lot of satisfaction out of things that I feel like, you know, Mount Everest to me. They're
Yeah.
fun for her, and she gets a lot of satisfaction out of that. And just to remember that there are people who love things that you loathe, and it's a privilege. I mean, privilege, maybe that's a strong word, but my business is providing an opportunity for Julie to have the job that she wants.
Hmm.
And
And
that's
she's good at
really
this certain set of skills. I used to hire me. Every time a
important.
designer came in, they'd be like super fun and playful and like, oh, she's got a pug. I love her energy. Blah, blah, blah. Let's hire her. Well, guess what? She wanted to do what I want to do. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm doing that. I don't need that. I need a Julie in my life.
yeah.
So, how big of a firm do you think you need to be? Maybe we'll ask this of Julie. How big of a firm do you have to be to have something like a director of operations? Because it sounds big.
Mhm.
Like, what would you say to the other designers listening?
I mean, and Amanda, I don't know if you agree, but I don't think you need to be that big. I think, you know, with the firm, you know, with Amanda's firm, we're fairly small numbers. And yet the scope of the project and the number of projects that are happening, it really allows for somebody who can just manage all that day-to-day work. So, you know, I would say 350, right? I think there's a broad spectrum
Mhm.
where it can still be really valuable.
Mhm. You probably do double the number of projects comfortably that you could do without that person,
Mm,
right? So
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know, so if
yeah.
you're overwhelmed, if you're too busy, but I
Mm,
think the key is trying to find someone who has a skill set that you don't have,
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
which is easy for me. I suck at so many things.
Me
Just like
too.
so many things, so many things.
I have strong strengths and weak weaknesses, so it's very
Very weak
clear to me.
weaknesses. Yeah.
The thing is, I feel like in other parts of the world, it is potentially a little easier to find someone.
Mm.
Um, I have really struggled because, people can work at Apple and Google and make a lot of money.
Right.
And so it's kind of a special case around here in Silicon Valley to find someone with a high skill level who, um, doesn't have to work full time.
Right.
It doesn't want to work full time and it instead is looking for something else. So I think that's kind of an interesting, that's why it was, I think, more difficult around here to find someone. Although we were meeting with a client the other day who works for another big tech company as a project manager. And she said, wait, how do I get this kind of gig?
Yeah.
I want to do that.
That's
And
so funny. Well,
and
it's
she's
true.
also
Like
in that
there's a
place.
quality of life, right? There's quality of life that a lot of people are curious about, but it's very expensive to live where you live. And so I
Yeah.
assume projects are very expensive also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're
you,
doing a $500,000 kitchen remodel basically right now.
nice.
A little
I
bigger
like
than
it.
that, but yeah.
That's the kind of kitchen I like to do. All right. So director of operations to manage the things that you're not good at. Were there any, what was hard to let go of? Was anything hard to let go of, Amanda? Like just,
No. I mean,
is that because
I
Julie's so competent or?
yes, that is
Okay.
absolutely it. I mean, I don't know if this is completely true, but I think I think that partway through the first staff meeting that Julie was part of, she started running it. And it was like, I'm like, please, no, go ahead. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to trust just anyone with that. But I
Yeah,
feel like Julie was really able to just step into that. And
yeah,
I'm not even sure that everyone with Julie's experience could do it. I think it's finding that fit. Um, which again, I think if you had a candidate pool would be, you would do interviews or whatever to choose
yeah.
that, find that fit. So one thing that we did is initially we did like a month where Julie was an unpaid intern, which sort of cracked me up. I'm like, yeah, my intern has an MBA. Just 'cause it's such a big area of not fun weakness for me. And then we evaluated and talked about like, what's working, what's not. And
And then
initially,
you change yourself to her. You change yourself to her ankle and said, never leave me. Don't ever leave me. That's what I would do.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think, um, oh, I don't remember what I was going to say. Doesn't matter. Oh, no, I do remember. This will be edited, right? So I can talk.
You do, yeah, you do whatever you want. It's very casual.
Um, I think initially, I don't know if this is what our hair lady said or what Julie said, but I thought maybe Julie's going to want to start taking some interior design classes and
Mhm.
get some of those skills. But then when it was actually time to discuss, like, okay, employment, um, she was like, oh no, I just love being part of making things happen.
Oh,
And it's like,
music to my ears, right?
yes.
So good. Yeah. Yeah. So good. So it sounds like it's worth considering. If you're overwhelmed, you have too many jobs, you're turning down jobs. You think
Yeah.
you could do better work because it's not just about quantity of work. Like you probably do
Yeah.
better work now knowing that there's somebody in charge of the things
Yes.
that you're not as good at. So it's all
Yes.
good. You guys, this is so interesting. Thank you so much. We love to end every episode with design intervention. Just great piece of business advice. Doesn't have to be related to the topic, and maybe each one of you could give one.
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, most of the ones I can think of come from what would Kimberley Seldon say? Because hiring contractors instead of employees has been a game changer
Yeah,
for me. That really helps. Julie's a contractor.
yeah.
So much easier, at least in California.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And yeah, I think stop feeling guilty about things you're not good at.
Mm.
I'll say that again for the record. Stop feeling stop feeling bad about things you're not good at and find someone who thrives in those areas.
I love that. That's good. That's really good. What about you, Julie?
Yeah, I would say, and this is my program management hat, is communication is key in any aspect of any business. And so sometimes I'll ask myself if there's any form of ambiguity, I will ask either, here's what I heard, or is this who's doing what? And setting those expectations at the beginning of how we communicate, who's doing what. I think that just sets things in motion for success on any project that you're working on.
That's so good. This is what I heard. What did you hear? That's a really good one. I need to try that one. Yeah, that's really good. All right, you guys, it's so good to hang out. Hopefully in person one day soon.
Yeah. We missed High Point. We tried. We couldn't make it work, but
it was fun. We had fun. Another time. Exactly right. Another time. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Love
you.
this episode. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.